You got me. You got me.
Oh, man. Hello, good evening. Welcome to another Wednesday night episode of the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Marcus Green. Good to be here, back from the ATL. And it's good to see you brothers again, virtually this time. We enjoy going to Atlanta. If there's any place that the ONG Strike Zone loves to go, is in the ATL. That's where we seem to kind of meet and get together. So, Kelvin, Marcus, how you guys doing this evening?
Lovely, man. I feeling like I'm 1-0, like I'm a defending champion. So everything's lovely.
Good feeling.
Yep.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Marcus?
I'm feeling good. All rested and recovered from the weekend, and all right. And I got the game on in the background.
Well, at least 2/3 of the ONG Strike Zone are doing great. So I mean, look, I'm gonna live off of y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna live off of y'all, man. I tell you, man, the devil be working. The devil be working. That's all I'm gonna say, boy. He be working on you.
Put him
Bryan,
behind you. Put thee behind thee.
Hey, Bryan, I'm right with you, brother. When we got back, it cost me money.
Oh, look. I'm so mad at myself for not renting a car. I call myself trying to save money by not renting a car, when all actuality, I have actually cost myself more money, and I may have, I don't know, I'm gonna knock on wood and pray I don't have to get a new car. So that's kind of how my weekend has gone, on
Right.
top of everything else. So, but at least the Rattlers are 1-0. So if nothing else, I could go to school on Monday and wear my orange, and all the kids knew. They're like, "Oh, Mr. Fulford, FAMU won." I said, "You doggone right, we won." That's right. It's shoot. They know when they see me wear blue on Mondays or FAMU orange, that means either my Rattlers or Colts won. Something happened good over the weekend. If I come into school on black, that means everybody lost. So that's how I do it. So we got a loaded show tonight coming back out of the ATL. The theme of the show, just win, baby. That's all we do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how pretty, doesn't matter how ugly, by hook or crook, by a touchdown, saving tackle, by a shoestring. Don't matter, by 1 yard, 1 point, doesn't matter. A win's a win. And that's what the Rattlers got. 1-0, baby. That's the goal. 1-0. No promises on how it was going to look. So we appreciate Coach Colsey for saying that. And we say, first off, congratulations to Coach James Colsey III on getting win number 1 and accomplishing the goal right off the bat of going 1-0. Congrats to all the staff. Congrats to the players for accomplishing and going up to Atlanta and taking care of business. And so now we turn the page and we get ready for the home opener and keep the 20-game win streak going. On tonight's show, we got a loaded show. We're going to give you all kinds of perspective. While we just had the opening of the football season, we're going to talk, we promised this time. We've actually confirmed it and have guaranteed that, Lord willing, knock on wood, that we will have the two-time SWAC Player of the Year and now current assistant volleyball coach Dominique Washington will be joining the show at the bottom of the hour to give us a preview of the upcoming volleyball season, as the Rattlers, the Lady Rattlers, will be in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend on Friday. So we need the ATL Rattlers to show back up again, and they will be in a tournament at Georgia State. 2 games on Friday, 1 on Saturday. So we'll talk to her about the team and all that that surrounds them. Then at the top of hour 2, good friend of the program, Brad Gillings. I didn't mean it bad. I meant Brad. Brad Gillings will
Bad. He bad. He a Bulldog this week. So he
Big
bad.
Big Bad Brad will be joining us, and we're gonna get into talking about the South Carolina State Bulldogs. You know, boy, he was. I remember when he got that coach that they got up there. Boy, he was blowing up the phone lines, wasn't he? Wasn't he?
Hey, wait till you come on the show. I'm sure he's got plenty of energy.
Oh, yeah. So, Rattler Nation, we're going to find out about the Bulldogs. Get ready. I'm telling you now, get a taste of it because Brad is coming in. He's coming in hot. Might be coming in hotter than Mike Ely last week. So, and then at the bottom of hour 2, we're going to talk to another friend of the program, championship wide receiver and an assistant football coach over at Godby High School, Nick Dixon. So, Nick's going to kind of give us that player's perspective on what he saw and what we can expect going into the debut of the home season. So that's the show. Load it up. We'll get into a few other things. You guys in the chat rooms, we appreciate you. Want to encourage you to be active and be respectful, but be active because you never know. We are broadcasting. We are part of the Black College Sports Network, so we are on our Black College Sports Network feed as well as our ONG StrikeZone feeds. So the Black College Sports Network, we're on Facebook and on Twitter. Well, I guess it's called X now. And also streaming on, I said X. We're also on Instagram Live. So we say hello to everyone on Instagram. On YouTube, part of the Jericho Broadcast Networks. So we appreciate everybody there. Want to encourage you to go ahead and take a minute. If you're on YouTube, 2 ways that you can support the show. Actually, 3 ways. 1, that YouTube, you can join, be a part of the Jericho Broadcast Networks is one way that you can do it by go ahead and being a subscriber. We thank you. And being a member. You can also hit that Cash App. That's right there. If you want to donate directly to the show, hit us up, $MyJBN, And hey, if you hear something good that you really like while you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit the super chat. You can drop a bucket, drop a quarter in the collection plate, as we like to say. All funds help the ONG Strike Zone make sure we get to some of the places that we're trying to get to this season. So any other opening thoughts before we get into the roll call? We want to be quick because we want to get into the opening segment. So I'm only going to do about 3 or 4 minutes of the shout out. So any other opening thoughts, Kelvin or Marcus, you want to get out?
No, let's get the shout outs out the way.
All right, let's get the shout outs out the way. All right, so let's kind of get the shout outs out the way. Let me roll through the banners there. There we go. All right, let's see who we got. First up in from today, I think it's my guy, Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, yes, sir. Jimmy Mack, good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Exactly. Good 1-0 evening. Yes, indeed. And I appreciate you thinking about me, Jimmy. I did get home, thankful for family, boy. I tell you what. But my car is still in Georgia. All right. My heart and my car are in Georgia. But anyway, Bull says, what can our O-line learn from Norfolk State's O-line? Let me start that one. We come back to that one in a second. Good question there, Bull. Ken, appreciate you checking in. Appreciate you. Ooh, Jimmy Mack asked an interesting question. I'm going to save it. I ain't going to put it out there yet. It's in the chat, though, if you saw it. I'm going to come back to your question, Jimmy, about Saturday. Melissa Wilson. Checking in. Good to see you, Melissa. Good to see you. Another one. Checking in. Good up, Tony.
Hey, Melissa.
Good to have you in, brother. Dr. Lori's in the building.
What's up, Doc?
Doc's in. Thank you for doing what you do there in the chat room and supervising the sometimes nonsense that comes our way. We appreciate you and love you. Demetri Alford. Hey, what up?
Demetri?
Yeah. Great reminder for this weekend. White is the color of the game this weekend. So it's a whiteout on Saturday against the Bulldogs. Whiteout. Appreciate you. And yeah, definitely while you're in early, go and hit the like button and the thumbs up while you're in there. Marcus, thank you for being a JBN subscriber. We appreciate you. What's
up, Megan Marcus?
Appreciate you. Ashton Harris checking in. Good to see you, Ashton. Appreciate the support and stopping by the Game Time broadcast on Friday. We appreciate you. Meredith, good to see you, Meredith.
Hey, Auntie.
Thank you for being a JBN subscriber. Another JBN subscriber, good friend of the program. Tamara T. Got a chance to see Tamara. I saw her floating around.
Yeah. Well, she came by the broadcast too on Saturday.
Okay, right, exactly. Well, that's why I saw it. Yeah, that's why I saw her. So appreciate it. Derek Singleton checking in.
What's up, Derek?
All right, look at that, Derek on time. All right, hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you for checking in. B Starks in the building. Appreciate you, B. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber as well.
What's up, B
Gail?
Starks?
Hey, Gail, how you doing,
What's
Gail?
Up? What's up, Cleveland, the land?
Joe King in the house. Good to see you, Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Let's see. EA. EA wants to make a proposal. I don't know.
You have to be careful with EA, boy.
I know.
He be blazing.
I know. You know. I was gonna get EA. He left the door open on that one, but I'm gonna pass. Because we'll be here all day if I open it.
Hey, by the way, EA and what's my man from Southern?
Yeah.
Bryan had the studs in Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's keep going.
Let's
keep going. Little baby, what's up, little baby? Y'all are fools. Let's see. James Austin. Oh, James Austin, huh? I don't know how many South Carolina State fans we're gonna have in there tonight, unless they jumping in trying to see what the Rattlers are talking about. But it's always possible. Chuck Hunt, good to see you, Chuck.
What's up, Chuck?
Checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. V Games.
Batman.
Good to see you, brother. Thanks for checking in. Hey, hello. Thank you for checking in. Good to see you. Ashley Coleman checking in.
What's up, things?
Fang Exchange. Make sure to check it out. FangExchange.com. Great promotion there. I got to make sure to get my hat. I get my Fang Exchange hat. I got to go ahead and drop some buckets so I can get that. Make sure to check out FangExchange.com. FAMU's first NIL collective, and they're doing some great things. So you guys make sure you get locked in. If you're not, please make sure you do. My buddy, my old boy, Clay Norvell Brown checking in. Good to see you this weekend, Clay. Thanks for checking in. Let me see. What else? Chuck Hunt was talking about. Let me keep going here. Coach Ferrasi, good to see you, Coach.
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Hey, great breakdown on Sundays. If you didn't get a chance to catch Coach on the the BCSN Sports Wrap on Sunday, Kelvin, Coach Ferrasi, great breakdown while I was on the road traveling back from Atlanta. Yeah, so let me see. EA starts comments. I'm going to keep that for a second. Steve Campbell checking in. What up, Mr. Campbell? Exactly. 1-0 on our way 2-0. Yeah, definitely. Sam Gilbert.
What's up, Sam?
Checking in. All right. Good to see that. Shako, good to see you.
What's up, Shako?
Drew checking in. Thanks, Drew.
What's
80 Earl checking
on,
in. Earl checking in. Good to see you. On
What's
X.
Up, Earl?
On the X machine. Hey, how's the hill looking this year, Earl?
Hey, that's why. Hey, Earl, I'll meet you on the hill Saturday.
Exactly. We just take it over.
Who's gonna check you? Who's gonna check you, boo?
Who's gonna stop us? No one's gonna stop us. Let's just go ahead and invade it. Come on now. If you're down, we'll see you on the hill. I don't know what time, but Kelvin will be there. Ezekiel Love, good to see you, family. Keith checking in. Fangs Up Podcast.
What's up, cuz?
Like, subscribe. Make sure to check out Keith coming in hot tomorrow and Sunday as always. Keith be putting up the dope. Have you noticed what Keith be doing with the graphics? Have you noticed that? I ain't figured out that whole AI thing yet. I feel like a slacker a little bit.
He's still a youngin'.
He's young enough. He figured it out. Yeah, I'm feeling old. Shout out. Yeah. Okay. Mike Road Dog. Hey, Mike checking in. Hey, I got to give a shout out to Mike, man. Mike, appreciate you and everybody else that sat in the club level I know our families did. My family enjoyed it. You know, even though they swear I set them up with some bad intel. I ain't even gonna get into the details, but they ended up enjoying themselves. And I saw the pictures. And so I just want to give a shout out, Mike Road Dog Reed. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. And thank you to everybody who used the StrikeZone code when they bought their tickets. It means a lot. So and it helps a lot. So we're gonna look to try to do more of that over the course of the season. So stay locked in. Montre Bennett, checking in.
Montre?
Good to see you. Let's see, G-Man on the beat.
What's up,
exactly.
G-Man?
Checking in from Broward. Good to see you, G-Man. Our guy Dex checking in.
Saw him in Atlanta.
Dex, good to see you. Let me see. Meredith, who's being messed up? Oh, wait a minute, what I missed?
Dexter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Didn't know that. All right. I'm gonna save that one. No updates that I can officially say, James. I'm gonna just say it like that.
There you go. There you go, James. We always got breaking news, but we got breaking news.
We not go. Yeah, exactly. We got breaking news. We just ain't gonna break it. How about that? All right. Let's get into the ball game. Let's get into the ball game as we can here before we get to the bottom of the hour. So we got about a 10-minute run here, guys. And I threw this out to you kind of overnight because, you know, we're hitting Wednesday and a lot of people have commented and there have been a lot of things out there. So let's just kind of run through with 3 takeaways. So I put this out. I said 3 takeaways, 2 plays or players, and then what was the last one I said? One area of improvement or concern that you might have going into next week. So let's just start with the 3 things first. So let's start. We'll go Kelvin, Marcus, and then I'll drop mine in. What do we got? 3 things. 3 takeaways. 3 takeaways.
Thing number 1. All right. Thing number 1. There is no quarterback controversy. We have our QB 1. We also have our wide receiver 1. So we have our go-to guys on offense. Thing 2. The run defense was not what you think it was. I went back and had a chance to watch that game. And it came down to basically our linebackers overrunning and not having sound gap assignment. That 82-yard run, it wasn't that everybody got dominated. It just so happened that the one guy who was responsible for that gap, for whatever reason, ran completely past the gap. So when the guy cut into that gap, there was nobody there. And I would say 4 out of those 5, the 4 out of the 5 longest runs all fell into that same category. So they didn't necessarily dominate us. Our alignment and our tackling was poor. Last but not least, our DB was in place, but he did not play the ball very well. I think that you will see, going back to the gap assignments, if you notice, our starting linebackers didn't play a whole lot. The second, third, and fourth. One of them didn't play at all, I don't think, after the first quarter. And then one of them came back and made a couple of good plays for us. But our second string linebackers, who were Jenkins, Nayron Jenkins, friend of the show, as well as Fox from the transfer from Mississippi Valley, they came in the second quarter and they had the yeoman's minutes at linebacker the rest of the game. And there was a difference. They weren't perfect, but they did the job. And so that 200 yards everybody talking about that they had at halftime, that was on like 3 or 4 plays. Most of the time their offense was not very productive, but they did have those gap plays where, you know, they gashed us. So, you know, all in all, first game, we didn't know what to expect. This game is going to be similar to that coming up. But I was very proud. I was glad that we got punched in the mouth and we were able to respond. I was glad that I know this coaching staff can make adjustments on the fly. And in this case, it didn't make it to halftime. They made, after the first quarter, they made adjustments. So I'm very encouraged.
Go ahead, Marcus. 3 takeaways.
The first one, I'm pleased, and I guess for me, I thought about it after I came back. I am so pleased with the, if I say the phrase correctly, cleanliness of this game. HBCUs on a national stage, we had 10 penalties between the two teams. Very compelling, competitive game. Came down to 1 point. There wasn't a whole bunch of sloppiness. There wasn't a whole bunch of silly penalties. Some of the things that we stereotypically, and I put air quotes around that, associate with HBCU football. So first and foremost, coming out on prime time on Saturday night and putting on a good showing, not only for our team, but for our culture. Second thing, Daniel Richardson had a coming out party. I mean, it's kind of hard to say for a graduate transfer who's been at 2 FBS schools, but there were questions about, I guess, his physical stature and will everything translate and all these different things about will he fit. But I think he more than improved in terms of what he was able to do on the field, especially with the adversity that hit early in the game as it relates to being behind and not playing to where, I guess, the team and even the fans expected the defense to play. He came out and his performance more or less made sure we came out with a victory. The third thing is we've said it before, and this isn't necessarily just for this game, but in the last 2 years, last 2 seasons, we talked about it after December 2022, and some of the personality shifted within the conference that FAMU was going to be the it school. And we're seeing that in a lot of different things in terms of how teams play us, even though we've always had a target on the back just because we happen to be FAMU. But we are the it school as it relates to attention, positive, negative, the it school in terms of teams playing up or playing better. And also, I guess, in terms of playing better, Norfolk State, I think a lot of us, perhaps maybe FAMU fans and other fans, may have been lulled into sleep and thinking this is the same old Norfolk State because of past performance and thinking back 20 years ago when they may not have been as competitive in the MEAC as they would have wanted. But going along with us being that school with the target and Norfolk being a school that made a statement in prime time and almost made a big statement, had it not been for the heroics of Eric Horn on a 2-point conversion. So those are my 3 takeaways.
Well, I'll be real brief with mine. I feel a little. I feel like I get to say, I told you Daniel Richardson was that dude. I told you. I feel like I can kind of bump my chest a little bit because he looked the part. And I think his experience is what really impressed me. Being down 7-0. And then even after we didn't have the greatest opening drive, I mean, the first drive was, I think, only 5 plays. And then they turned around, and I think, what was their second drive? Like 14 plays, if I recall, their second drive in which they scored. So a lot of time was, they chewed up a lot of time. And then we came back and answered right after that. And I believe that's when we scored. And so, and then we ran off 17 straight to grab that lead. I was just really impressed. And then some of the decisions to check out of some plays, his ability. And I thought the run where he needed to run, it was what I had hoped, what I kind of thought was going to happen. I was just glad to see it. Second takeaway, look, I'm not that bothered by the defense. I think a lot of people will look at the defense and say, oh, we gave up, 247 yards. But him, 82 of it was in one play. 82 was in one play. Now, what happened was, and Coach has said this, and I love the transparency from Coach Cozy. And I guess I got to give a little credit to Norfolk State's coaching staff because they probably self-scouted themselves. Said, we need to do some things different than what we had been doing. And that caught us off guard because in the post-game presser, you heard Coach Cozy talk about some of the preparation that they planned didn't actually occur. And so once they made the adjustment, that's where things kind of settled down. I like the responding to adversity. That was important, and I had the third one in my head, but I'm gonna stick with just responding to adversity. Look, even late after they scored, even after we committed a penalty, and I think Marcus, I was going to mention penalties, but since you did, I'm gonna stay away from that. But the adversity of, hey man, they're a play away from tying the game up. Oh doggone, we just made a mistake. Now they're going to go for a 2-point conversion to take the lead. We respond with a strong play. That says a lot. Love it. All right. 2 plays or players of the game. I'll start with you, Marcus, this time. 2 plays or player of the game. And we got to be quick because we gotta.
Well, one is obvious. Daniel Richardson, play of the game, just played lights out. It wasn't 100% perfect, but it was good enough to make sure that we prevailed on top. I guess the play of the game, I would say, would be probably the play where we got we weren't going to call a play, and we were going to try to draw them offsides. Didn't draw them offsides with emotion, and Danny Richardson actually had the ball snapped, and we were able to get pass interference, and that pretty much sealed the game. Because up until, it's a 1-point game, and if you don't make a third down, there's always a chance of the team coming back. So I would say those 2. That would be my play and player of the game.
There you go. What about you, Kelvin?
You're on mute, I think.
I'm gonna go with Jamar Gassett. He ran them. He had the return on special teams, a nice return, and then of course 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was the man. And then the play of the game is in the same as Marcus, but I'm gonna say that last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, period, the whole drive. We got that ball. We were gonna run the ball, and Coach had talked about it before the season started. Coach Henry, as well as Coach Cozy. Hey, we built this team for drives like that, and they delivered the first opportunity they had to. So that's my player and play of the game.
Yeah. Bull, you can hear it all. Say something clear. That's me clicking my mouse, Bull. I'm sorry. That means something going on there. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go with players of the game.
Gassett as well. Go back and watch. If you saw the replay, the move Gassett put on that DB on the 5-yard score, where he basically did a hesitation, dropped his hip, and then accelerated and left the DB looking in the backfield. He was gone. Great throw to lead him by Richardson. Just a great day for Jamari. 8 receptions, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Great job. And I love the post-game presser. Post-game press conference, Jamari Gassett is a star. We talked to him at Fan Day, and we knew he had a personality because I remember hearing Coach AC talk about his personality. Personality was full display in the post-game presser, but I love it.
And the handstand he did.
Yes. Yes. And the handstand. And then how about Eric? I'm gonna give Eric Horn with the play of the game, the touch of actually it was the PAT, the 2-point attempt that first off, bad play call by Norfolk State. There's no way that I'm sending a 6'5" quarterback, out to the flat towards the sideline to try to get around the corner. And there was nobody there blocking. So it was like, I don't understand that little RPO, I guess, that they were trying to run. I guess they thought they were going to fool somebody with that. But a heads-up play by Eric Horn, didn't miss, made the tackle, saved the lead. Turns out to be the game winning play on defense. And so that was my big takeaway or player/play of the game. We'll come back and talk about the one area of maybe concern or adjustment that we'd like to see a little bit later. But I want to get us into our first break so that way we can get to our first guest and kind of transition to the start of the
23-24 volleyball season
with our SWAC player, two-time SWAC player of the
year and current assistant volleyball coach Dominique Washington right here on the other side. So hang in there with us. If you got any questions about the volleyball season or any questions for Coach Washington, I guess we got to call it Coach Washington now.
Go ahead and put those in the chats, and we'll talk volleyball coming up in this next segment. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a second.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up message quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone, and there she is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone, two-time SWAC Player of the Year and current assistant volleyball coach, Coach Dominique Washington. Coach, how you doing, Coach?
I'm good. Hi, how are you guys?
Hey, it's great. It's good to see you back home, back in orange and green. Has it sunk in when you hear Coach Washington? Has it sunk in yet?
No, I'm still getting used to that part. It's been about 3 weeks, so still settling in, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
Tell us a little about what brought you not just back to FAMU, but what brought you, or what the change in the coaching? What brought you back into coaching?
Well, actually, this past season I coached club volleyball. So that was this past 23-24 season. Ended in around July. And right after that, I received a call from Coach Gokhan asking me if I would like to be a part of the staff. And I knew I couldn't pass up the opportunity. So I've always loved FAMU. I was welcomed with open arms, and this university has such a strong sense of community and support, and that's one of the biggest things I loved about coming here. And so I knew once he offered me the opportunity that I would end up here. He called me, and about 2 weeks later I packed my bags and moved to Tallahassee again. And so I'm settled in now. We're just rounding out preseason practices, going into our first preseason tournament this weekend. But yeah, FAMU's always had a special place in my heart. It's always felt like home. So I was excited to come back, and more than happy to.
Well, we're definitely glad to have you, and I still maintain your story is I think one of the best and most awesome stories. Just watching your journey and just seeing you kind of blossom into the star that you were always meant to be, and that you did it for us. And so I think you, in my opinion, you will have FAMU legend status also always tagged to your name in my book. Marcus, go ahead. What do you got for Coach Washington?
Oh, Coach Washington, first of all, thank you for coming back on the show. And I guess I have two questions for you. One, in terms of, and I guess it's only been a couple years, maybe 2 years since you graduated and moved on. But how was that since, coming back as a coach? Are you still like within that realm of like being close to the players, or are they calling you old lady because you've been gone for 2 years? Is there any sense of, I don't know, not even a generation gap because it's only been 2 years, but like that you're 2 years removed from the player, and how is that mesh going?
The mesh is going very well. I do know some of the players. I played with quite a few of them. I'd say about 4 or 5 of them. But that dynamic, that coach-player dynamic is there. They're all very receptive to feedback. And, now that I'm a coach, it's a different boundary set. But the dynamic of the group is great. And that's another reason why I came here as a player. And we all mesh so well from the coaching staff to the players. It's been a very smooth transition.
Okay. And I guess the second half of that question, for the players that may, even the ones that you played with, but for the players that weren't here when you were here, are they intimidated because of your resume having played at FAMU? Like, oh my gosh, how do we live up to that?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. And thank you guys for mentioning it. But I definitely enjoyed the seasons that I had here, but it was already 2 years ago, so it's kind of in my past now. And while I do appreciate the accolades, I'm just trying to help them as much as I can grow. And that's another reason why I came here, because I feel like I have a lot of insight in the game, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity of helping these young ladies develop in their game, mentally, physically, but also their IQ of the game. And I think I can help in that aspect. And us from a coaching staff, we all know the game well, and we can bounce things off of each other. This is the first year that Coach Gokhan has been able to add to the staff. So that was also a big opportunity for myself. And Caitlin Scroggs has joined the staff, and she was a player on the team in the past season. So yeah, it's been going well so far. And I don't bring up my accolades too much. Just trying to help the players as I can.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
So obviously, you were part of this tradition, but the expectations at FAMU in volleyball is pretty high, and rightfully so. And Coach has said this is one of his most talented teams. So just kind of talk about the strengths of this team and what it's going to take for this team to grow and bring home a SWAC championship.
Yeah. So this season we have a lot of depth on the team. I'm looking forward to not looking at one person as they have to be the Terminator, or we have a lot of depth, so we can work with a bunch of players throughout the court. So I think that's one of the biggest things going into this season. this team is very competitive as well. So in practice, everyone's making each other better. And I think that's a big thing that's going into the season. My goal is to help them strive for excellence in every aspect of the game. And because we have great depth, I'm eager to experience the thrill of competing again, but from the coaching side of it. And I know that we will accomplish some great things this season with the depth that we have.
Coach, I got one follow up, and this is about you. I know you're a coach now, and you're focusing on that part of it. But you were such a dominant player and such a really good player, and you're not that far removed. Do you get out there every now and then and show them how it's done?
I did for the past year or so. I've been playing in some open gyms. I was actually in the Atlanta area for the past year. So just joining some Facebook groups and playing open gyms or with friends because I did my undergrad there. I do know some people in Atlanta. I came to L. Lawson, got a couple reps in, and I'll just say I'm out of touch a little bit, but give me a week and I'll be good.
Awesome.
Obviously being an outside hitter, of course, for anybody who doesn't know, that's where you kind of did your damage on the outside. We've got two pretty good outside hitters on this squad. Obviously last year, kind of sort of taking the sort of the passing of the torch after you left was Brooklyn Watts. She became a first team all SWAC. I thought she did a great job with kind of in the AD after Dominique era, and and then Jada Rhodes comes, and all she was the defending or last year's SWAC Player of the Year. Talk a little bit about Brooklyn and Jada and how, just talk about their game and then how those two mesh, how they will mesh, and how you see this team be able to utilize both of their talents.
Yeah, well, so we have about actually four outsides currently, five outsides actually, and they all have great athleticism and an IQ for the game. But going into Brooke specifically, Brooklyn, she has great adversity to the game, and she mixes up her shots well. She's a very smart player, along with Jada. Jada is as well. So they work very well on the court together. They know how to talk to each other and how to help each other on the court. And a big thing with volleyball is communication, and they're two of our leaders that are kind of stepping up this year as they go into their final season. But we do have three other outsides as well. And again, the depth of the team is great. And as preseason has gone on, they have all gotten better tremendously with just mixing up their shots. As an outside, you have to be very diverse in your shots. And you can't be focused on hitting one way or the other. And I think that all of our outsides are great all-around players. And that also helps with our program and going into preseason and season games and playing in the SWAC. I think it's hard to compare ourselves to other teams because other teams may not have the same depth that we have, and that's what puts us above some of these other teams, and that's why I'm excited going into the season. But again, all outsides, coachable, take feedback well, and are doing very well in the gym.
I know one of those outsides, I'm just kind of looking at the roster, Ayani Sanford, a true sophomore. She had a great year last year as a freshman. Also, let's see, senior, I hope I'm saying the name right, Yarciel Rodriguez.
Yarciel, yep.
And I'm not really sure. I know, so I got a right side hitter, Autumn Hamilton, and then listed on the roster is a right side to me at Coleman. I don't know. You mentioned 5, so am I
Yes,
missing somebody?
Natalie is our 5th. She's an
Oh,
incoming freshman. Yep.
incoming freshman. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, definitely want to make sure we shout all those ladies out. I'm gonna throw it to Kelvin and Marcus one more time, but one of your former teammates, Isis Williams, Isis is, I think did I hear correct, Kelvin? She might have been one of Coach Gokon's first recruits, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, a former teammate, Isis, talk a little bit about her leadership. Obviously, she was one of those, almost a veteran. Might as well have been a veteran when you got there, and now, hey, she's still leading. So, talk a little bit about Isis and the role she plays and what she means to this team.
Yeah. So she's going into her final year now. Yeah, she was Gokon's first recruit here, and I'm excited to see her going into her she's in grad school, but her senior season. She has such a big impact on this team. She's such a great leader and role model for these girls, and she always steps up when it's needed. I'm excited to see her play this season out of the middle. She's been doing so well, and she's such a coachable. Again, that's a big topic of this season. A very coachable young lady, and we were very close on the court as well when we played together. So yeah, I'm just excited to see how her last season goes, and I know she's going to step up to the plate. And she's always there helping her teammates as needed. And she's a captain for the team as well. So I'm excited to see that and excited to see her step up.
Mm-hmm. Marcus, and then Kelvin, any final questions you got for Dominique? Coach Washington, sorry. I got to get used to that.
What's your perception or what's your prognostication for the season?
I will say I'm not too sure where the other teams stand as of now in the SWAC. I kind of have to get more up to date with where they are currently as we play them. But I can speak on our team, and I feel like our mentality going into the season after coming up a little bit short last season is driven. We have a lot of seniors that experience that and don't want that to happen again and won't let that happen again. So I'm excited to see how these girls step up going into the season and having a strong start. And the determination and grit that they bring every day shows me that they're going to step up to the plate and they're going to show who should have won last year. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see that. And I'm excited to be there along the way. And that's one of my biggest goals this season is to see everyone on the team improve in one way. And I think that shows for a successful coaching role, let alone like mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you.
What do you got, Kelvin? On mute.
Talk about the preseason game that we had on Friday, and then the tournament, the teams you're facing this weekend in this week's tournament, and what you saw and what's the approach.
Yeah, we played a very good team, University of West Florida. They always play us pretty hard, and we played them for the past 3 years, I believe. We started off great, a really great start. We ended up coming short. And I think that's good. When we start like that, we get a little bit of pushback. It only makes you work harder. Winning that exhibition game would maybe not have shown us what we need to do or what we need to change and how we need to come into the game. I've always felt like that as a player. And so as a coach, I feel the same way. And not being too far gone from playing, just about 2 years, I think that I can help with recent experiences and kind of drive the team to come into the games with a different approach and understand how important it is to start strong. I think going into the rest of the season, we just have to have that controllables mindset. I think that's what volleyball is. It's who's going to make the error first or who's going to kill the ball first. And I think if we put the pressure on the other teams instead of ourselves, we will be successful. And that's kind of how the game of volleyball works, is transfer the errors onto the other team instead of yourself.
Okay.
Let me follow up with as we talk about the non-conference schedule. Last year's team played. I thought we played maybe about 5 or 6 matches that went into the 5th set, and we came up a little short in those. And I think even though we came up short, we felt like, man, those were winnable matches. When you look at our non-conference schedule overall, what's your thoughts about some of the teams and the opponents? I know Coach always likes to schedule teams with the thought of, hey, we got to get prepared because we're a one-bid league and we got to be prepared for postseason. We're trying to win the SWAC, and when we win the SWAC, we want to be prepared. So if you can, just take a second and talk a little bit about some of the teams and competition that Coach has scheduled.
Yeah, so this weekend we're going into we're playing in Atlanta. We'll play South Dakota State, Indiana State, and Georgia State. We have 2 games on Friday and 1 on Saturday against Georgia State. A lot of these teams this weekend are going to be having new players. So what we're looking in and recruiting, what we're watching on film is a bit different than what we're going to expect on the court. But I think one of the biggest differences is the discipline and the court awareness that we have. Going into this weekend, I think that's one of the biggest things that we just have to stay focused on. But again, Coach Gokhan likes to set these games up for the potential to win and also set us up for a season. So I think this would be a great start to our season. We're expecting to win this weekend, of course, and throughout the rest of preseason as well. And I think doing so will give us a boost of confidence going into the SWAC season.
Just to kind of let people know, obviously you guys see the scroll. So again, for the Atlanta Metro Rattlers, go ahead and take Friday off. It's a holiday weekend. Go ahead and take that. Make it a 4-day weekend. And on your way down to Tallahassee, you can watch some games on Friday, especially 2 games the games are played at Georgia State University. So obviously it was not very far from where we were on Saturday. Matter of fact, right up the road, a couple blocks away. And obviously there you see the schedule scrolling around, 11 o'clock and 4:30. And then we played the host school at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My final question for you, Dominique, and obviously you and Caitlin, former players, but really it's more so Coach has 3 assistants now. Instead of just being Coach Canfield, he's got 2 other assistants. Give us, what does the role look like? What do the roles look like now? Now that Coach Canfield's not doing everything, how's that split up now between you and Caitlin, and how do you guys add to the mix this season for the coaching staff?
Yeah, so we've definitely alleviated some of Coach Canfield's pressure with all of the work he did. He does a lot for the team, so we were happy to come in and help. So some of the roles that Caitlin and I have are maybe more positional. So throughout the games, Caitlin may focus on liberos and I may focus on the hitters. Again, though, we can talk to every player as needed, and Coach Gokhan brings us in on that well, and he allows us to speak to them as needed. And I think us being players, he understands that we know the game and we can talk to them as needed throughout the game. We help him on the side as needed as well. And we're just kind of taking some stats down, taking some notes down on what's going on the court throughout the game. So we're just kind of dispersing that evenly throughout the three of us, while Coach Gokhan focuses on what's happening currently and speaking to the team as needed. So yeah, it's definitely helped Coach Canfield a lot, and we're all meshing well and getting along well, and we're excited to go into this weekend.
Well, we're excited. We're excited on many levels, not just for Coach Gokhan, and Coach Canfield, that they've got some help from some quality former players. But I'm sure you two will be great coaches. We're glad to have you back on campus in the Lawson Center, and we're excited because we feel like this is a championship squad, and we feel like this is a team that can get to the SWAC championship for a fourth consecutive year and get our title back. That's what I don't know. Is there a theme for this season? What has the team come up with a theme or a slogan or a motto for this season?
Not that I know of yet, but I'll let you know if I hear of any.
Appreciate it.
Maybe get that ring back. That's a good one.
Hey, look at that. Get that ring back. I love it. Okay. Well, if the team doesn't adopt it, we're going to adopt that right there. Get that ring back. Hey, there it is. I love it. Hey, Coach Washington, again, thank you for coming on the show. Always a pleasure to have you on the ONG. So anytime you want to come in and give us a shout out and let Coach Scroggins know. We're going to have to get her in here in a week or two, and maybe we can get some updates from her and kind of hear how things are going for her. So safe travels and good luck to the team this weekend in Atlanta. We know Rattler Nation will be in the house, and hopefully we come back 3-0 with a clean sweep as we start the season.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes,
I look forward to
indeed.
speaking to you guys soon.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Coach Washington, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye. All right. Hey, love it. All right. Coming up on the other side of this break, Big Bad Brad's coming in. That's South Carolina State talk. So get ready. Let's find out about our opponent. They just swear they coming in. They coming to end the streak. We got some news for them, though.
They the last team that beat us in Bragg.
Yeah, listen to that Big Bad. Get ready, because that's what you're going to hear on the other side of the break.
I already beat him to it.
All right. Coming on back on the other side, Brad Gillings talking about those South Carolina State Bulldogs. Right after this, you're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in a moment.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry. Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less. So it's always worth it. Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
We're going to Florida, and we're going to bring you back a victory to Jackson.
Yeah.
God to y'all!
What you say now, Chuck? Man, you a plum fool, man.
Plum fool, Brad. You a plum fool, Brad.
Well, it's Chuck. I mean, excuse me, it's Brad Gillings. I'm sorry, not Chuck, but it's Brad Gillings, ladies and gentlemen. Friend of the program. Only on certain weekends is he might be a plum fool, but that's all right though. We still love you, Brad. How you doing this evening, man?
Doing well. How you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Doing all right.
Well, man, we're doing well.
Bull Rattler.
I'll let that slide.
It was good to see you over the weekend. MEAC-SWAC Challenge. Before we get into talking about this game and the Bulldogs, obviously 1.3 was the number. 1.3 million was the viewership numbers for the MEAC-SWAC Challenge, which was a record number of viewers, along with the 22,000 that attended. Obviously, Brad, what's your impressions of that when you see those kind of numbers? You guys were in it last year, and there were pretty good numbers against Jackson State. Just short of a million, but you keep seeing the growth every year. Just your thoughts on the growth of the MEAC-SWAC Challenge.
Yeah, I think part one, the fact that the game was competitive throughout, really did a great job of bringing in the casual fan. Number two, it was on prime time. Number three, it wasn't rained out. They didn't have any delays, no 5-hour to 7-hour games like we've had in previous instances. And, quite frankly, you had the HBCU national champion who has a huge presence, alumni presence in the Atlanta metro area, as well as, our folks to the Tidewater in Virginia, who was making their first foray into the challenge. So there was a lot of intrigue on both sides. So all of those things being said, and you put all of that into a pot, and I think that's why you got the attendance you got, as well as the viewership.
All right. Well, this upcoming Saturday, actually the debut of the Chinnis Berry era at South Carolina State as the Bulldogs open their season. FAMU has obviously has the advantage of having played a game. Let's start with just South Carolina State and what you have seen. Obviously, Buddy Pugh was a legend, is a legend. When we talk about changes, what kind of changes have you seen noticeable? And I'm not really talking on the field because we haven't seen that yet, but just program wise, or maybe fan base reception towards the Berry era that you've seen since.
There was a renewed sense of Yeah, there's a renewed sense of energy in Orangeburg and in South Carolina as a whole. As I'm sure you know, Barry was arguably one of the hottest coaches in all of HBCU football the last 2 seasons. So, you know, with that being said, he was a very much a hot commodity. If you've ever heard Coach Pugh talk, he said as much that he felt like he could coach a couple of more years, but felt as though Coach Barry was ready. And he wanted to be able to strike while the iron was hot, in such that Barry had a lot of potential suitors. And so he was able to, you know, kind of make the pitch that, hey, you don't have to move. You know, you can stay in your home. Your family can stay where they are. You make the short drive down to Orangeburg. You're going to get a heck of a raise. You're going to get a rabid fan base. And then you get to become a part of a long lineage of coaches that have made South Carolina State the legacy from a football perspective that they are. In terms of off the field, from a player's perspective, the kids have really bought into what Coach Barry and his staff are doing. And Coach Barry and his staff have really done a good job of kind of embracing, you know, kind of the new millennium. They're very heavy on social media. As I'm sure you've seen, South Carolina State's presence on social media has really ratcheted up, both on, you know, on all the social media networks. You're starting to see more pictures and videos and cut-ups and, you know, those kinds of things. All of those kinds of things that are important to not only kids who are able to see themselves, but to potential recruits who may be looking to join the South Carolina State program in the near future.
The game time Saturday is 6 p.m. Eastern. It will be on ESPN Plus. FAMU has a series lead, 36 wins to 26 losses and just 2 ties. Very first meeting between the two schools.
Hey, can you repeat that again?
Yes, I'll gladly repeat that. FAMU has a series lead of 32, 26, and 2. I was setting it up for you, Kelvin, to come. Yeah, it's like a tag team. I was going to give people. Sorry, Brad. I just want to give people who may not know the series history.
Give them the facts.
I'm just giving facts. The first meeting was won by South Carolina State back in 1930 by a score of 21-7. Of course, the last time these teams met was in 2022. FAMU won that contest 20-14, and FAMU has won the last 3. Go ahead, Kelvin. What you have for Mr. Gillens?
Well, I'm just interested to hear, Brad, what he expect from his South Carolina State team being the first game with a new head coach in the friendly confines of Bragg Stadium. What do you expect? And what does the Bulldog Nation expect? And if you got an insight, is the band coming?
So I don't have any insight to whether the band is going to be traveling or not. As far as what I expect from the team, I expect an extremely disciplined, fundamentally sound team. What I expect the Bulldogs to want to do schematically is what we've always done, and that's win at the line of scrimmage. We've got 5 returners starting on the offensive line, you know, kind of led by preseason MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Year and FCS All-American Nick Dixon, anchoring the group, as well as MEAC first teamers Cam Johnson and Eric Brown. So based on what we were able to see and what we were able to glean last week, and kind of how Norfolk State was able to kind of impose their will on FAMU's front four for the majority of the first half, I would very much expect that Coach Barry would probably want to employ some sense of that same philosophy, if you will.
All right.
And let me follow up real quick. So, Brad, who are some of the players? If South Carolina State going to be successful, who are some of the players you're looking at that have to have a big impact for South Carolina State?
Well, yeah. Well. In order to in order to have a successful offense, it starts with your trigger man. And so, we can expect that we'll see at quarterback Eric Phoenix. He's a transfer from Murray State, who before playing for the Racers actually started for Barry at Benedict for 2 seasons and led them to an 11-0 season in 2022. So he's very familiar with Barry and the offensive coordinator, Coach Jonathan's offense. So he's a dual threat quarterback, and as a coach he's a graduate transfer, so he's actually a coach on the field. So he's just an extension of the offensive coordinator. At the running backs, we've got you can expect a sound thunder and lightning, much like you saw against Norfolk State last weekend. With transfer DeAndre Duhart, who came from Benedict. He's the big bruiser. And then we've got KZ Adams, a transfer from Georgia State. So you can expect that, we may, punch you in the mouth, early, and then kind of hit you with the home run shortly thereafter. First team all MEAC tight end and Keshawn Toney. He's been for the last 2 years now. And at wide receiver, we've got Justin Smith-Brown, who's a local guy. He's from Cocoa, Florida. Local to Central Florida anyways. But Justin Smith-Brown leads that outfit. Led the team in receiving last year in only 6 games of action. So definitely fundamentally sound. Like they can mix it up. They can run it. They run it extremely well. But if you throw 8 in the box, they can definitely take shots where need be. They can hit you in the seam with the tight end. He's extremely athletic, has really soft hands. And then the wide receiver core, I think you're also going to see, in addition to Justin Smith-Brown, we've got some other additions that we've gotten through the transfer portal that are also going to make an immediate impact.
Okay. Good stuff. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, Brad, thanks for joining us this evening. With a new coaching staff, and it sounds like a lot of new players. And
always a pleasure, sir.
Kind of a little parallel, not exactly parallel to the situation we're going through in terms of a new coach or new voice as the head coach at FAM and transfer at quarterback, even though you have experience with the quarterback. How much of this being your first game, how much do you expect, or would you expect, a fast start or a little slow start, especially with your first game being away and being in Bragg Stadium?
The interesting thing about playing in Bragg for a lot of these kids is that they never have, so they don't know what they don't know. So the mystique and the aura of playing in Bragg Stadium is not impressed upon them, if you will. In addition to that, a lot of these kids have already played in raucous under raucous crowds and in hostile territories, so it won't be anything I think they won't be able to handle. And I think coaching and staff will do a really good job of managing expectations and kind of setting them up to let them know what to expect, coming from what we can expect from the FAMU faithful. I know that there is going to be a huge contingent of Bulldogs that are going to be traveling down from Orangeburg as they always do. So I think it'll definitely be kind of the similar environment to what we saw in the MEAC-SWAC Challenge, last weekend, which is definitely a win for FAMU because it directly puts money into your athletics department's bottom line and into your coffers. So I expect a highly competitive game. It's hard to say with FAMU having a game under their belt. That means they've kind of already shaken off the rust. But then conversely, South Carolina State also has film on FAMU where FAMU doesn't have any film on South Carolina State. So they don't know what to expect coming into the game. I think it's hard to, with everything being even, new head coach, new coaching staff on both sides, ton of transfers on both sides. One team has played a game, one team's got film on a game, so they can scheme a little differently than the team that doesn't have film. I think this game is evenly matched.
Okay, thank you.
You're on mute.
Bryan, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. Just in case folks who are on our JBN Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page, put a poll up to just to kind of get a feel for what you guys think. How many points will FAMU defeat South Carolina State this weekend? Right now, the half of you who have voted are kind of in the 7 to 13 point margin. 34% kind of think 14 plus, and just under 20% say 1 to 6 points. The current betting line, for those who are curious about that kind of thing, 9.5. Florida A&M is a 9.5 point favorite according to FanDuel. The over/under is 44.5. So they kind of think a low-scoring ball game. Brad, if South Carolina State is to be successful, what do you think will happen in order for that to take place?
Again, we have to immediately come out and establish the run. Again, after seeing what Norfolk State was able to do in the first half. Conversely, if the defensive line can stop the run and get some pressure on Richardson, and we can put some sugar in that gasset tank, if you will, I think we'll have a good opportunity to make this a very interesting game. And in the end, if it's close, I think we'll have enough wherewithal to escape with the win in Brad.
He was saving that one.
I see that. I see that.
That was a good one. I see what you did.
Listen, ever since the press conference on Saturday.
Hey, well, they told you we don't lose and brag. We don't lose and brag. So, but it is what it is, right?
Well, I don't know if that's technically. I don't know if that's technically.
Here we go.
True, considering.
Here we go.
It's been a generation.
We've won our fair
Brad,
share.
It's been a generation
although
of college
what I will say is, what I will say is this. This is my third year. This is my fourth year coming on Bleeding Orange and Green podcast. I've been on 3 times previously. Every time I've been on before, we've lost in Brad. If we lose again, consider me X'd out, and I'm not coming back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this may be Brad Gillings' final appearance on the OG StrikeZone. We always appreciate him. We enjoy him. We'll have to, I didn't know that stat. So that was a great stat, Brad. Thank you for sharing that. I had no idea we had a run streak. We had a streak going. What you got, Kelvin?
Hey, well, me and Brad go way back, man. Great guy, man. I enjoy him. I met Brad when he was a rattler, and he was matriculating through FAMU Athletics and getting his master's degree, right? So, he always represented the Bulldogs, and don't get it twisted. I ain't finna fake no funk. But at the end of the day, he is a rattler also. He don't want you to know that necessarily, but he is a rattler, and he's the father of a couple of rattlers. So I got I can't have that, nothing but have love for the brother.
Oh, Brad.
You didn't have to tell the people all of that,
man. They need to know. It's the OG StrikeZone. They need to know. You family.
Until this weekend. Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Except for Saturday, yeah.
Except for Saturday. Brad, give us a quick thought about the MEAC. You've seen 2 teams in the MEAC. The teams that were predicted 5th and 6th had very good, respectable showing in week 0. What's your take on not only just the MEAC overall, but where South Carolina State will fall? Where do you think they will fall? I forgot what the predicted order was. I think it was maybe 4th. I don't know. I don't recall. But just give us a preview or your thoughts on the MEAC.
It's going to be a murderer's row. Whomever comes out of the conference will definitely come out with at least 1 loss. All of the teams are extremely well coached. You think about it. You've got a 2-time SIAC Coach of the Year. You've got the last two Celebration Bowl participants that are still in the conference. You can never sleep on a guy like Damon. You can never sleep on a guy like Damon Wilson at Morgan State. Millset's doing some really good things up at Delaware. They just took. They held Hawaii to 14-7 at the half. So they're playing some really good ball there, and that was after having a traveling snafu. So, and then, last but certainly not least, you saw the proof in the pudding last weekend with Dawson Odoms in his outfit. So I think the MEAC is definitely going to be really, really good from top to bottom. I think anybody can be beat on any given week. I think it's really going to be one of those any given Saturday type of affairs where you're going to have to bring your A game every week. Otherwise, you could end up on the losing end. But what I will say is in the words of Coach Barry, like he always says, we're not looking ahead. All we're trying to do is go 1-0 every week. Just go 1-0, and everything else will take care of itself. Starting this weekend in Brad.
There you go. Aren't we all just looking to go 1-0? So,
no, not everybody. Not everybody.
We should be.
Especially if you come to Brad, you looking to go 0-1.
Ooh, ouch. Marcus, you got any final questions or anything you wanna run by Brad here?
Question: what is your expectation of the defense? I know historically Bulldogs have always had a pretty good defense, but I haven't heard a lot of conversation about it. Not just from you, but just in general.
Yeah, well, the defense is. Well, the defense is the anchor of the defense is all MEAC linebacker Aaron Smith in the middle, and on the back end we've got defensive back Jamari Benjamin. In the front we've got a lot of newcomers. So with a ton of experience. Now let me preface it by saying that we've got a guy that's coming in who just so happened to tally 10.5 sacks and 24.5 tackles for loss last year, which he led the nation in his division. So it's not as if we don't have some to see where the chips fall. Again, it's going to be their first. It's going to be their first week. They're used to hitting each other, and now they've got an opportunity to really kind of punch somebody else in the mouth. So. It'll be interesting to see kind of how that shakes out, Marcus. I wish I had more for you, but unfortunately, it's week 1 for us. So if this were week 6, definitely I'd have more analysis or more information to be able to offer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, whatever.
You don't want to give. You saying he don't want to give away too much. Is that what you?
Yeah,
is that the
playing a little possum. He ain't on the OG for nothing. He playing a little possum.
Look.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, Brad.
Look, guys. All honesty. Before we go, all honesty. We just a poor little school.
There you go.
Orangeburg, South Carolina. We don't have a whole lot of students. We're just looking to come and just be respectable. That's all that we're trying to do. That's it.
This 2 weeks in a row that somebody has come on this show. Oh, we just a poor little school from the South. We just trying to be like FAMU. Boy, I tell you what, man. Can't wait till we get a little further in the road. There's gonna be some schools they ain't gonna be that modest, but it's okay. We'll let y'all early in the season opponents be modest. That's okay. Right. Yeah. Let me see. What does Ashley say? Ashley said, "Word on the street. Oh, the D line's in question, huh? Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, if nothing else, South Carolina State, y'all put out some nice social media posts. So if nothing else."
Hey, so Brad, you know where to come by on Saturday. We're gonna break bread.
For sure. I'll be there.
Eat well.
Make sure you're wearing orange and green, though, Brad. Wear orange and green. You can put on your Bulldog stuff later, but make sure you wear orange and green when you come by.
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, you know that's not not on Saturday. Not on Saturday. No, sir.
All right. Brad Gillens, ladies and gentlemen, there you see his social media handle at Zara Telestrator. You can hit him up on social media. Don't haze him up too bad, but we would like you to go and thank Brad for coming on the show, giving us some great insight on South Carolina State. It's always a fun contest, and we're looking forward to the challenge. And so, you know, it'll be a good game. Hopefully, it'll be a good game.
Absolutely.
Good viewership and everything. So let's keep it going. Brad, safe travels when you head up to Tallahassee, and we'll wish you good luck the rest of the season after this week. And you know, good luck in the MEAC. And you know, maybe we'll circle back and see you guys when we do a pre-Celebration Bowl conversation. You know, but obviously you've already told us at that point you won't be coming on the show at that point. So.
Look, that would absolutely be ideal. I could guarantee you if that were to happen, we'd break attendance records, viewership records, all the records.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
For sure. That would be the dream matchup. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right, Brad. Be well. Thanks for your time tonight, man.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night, gentlemen.
All right, Brad. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Gillens. Before we go to the break, Marcus, you noted a few things regarding roster construction, roster makeup, that we were talking about off air. You want to go through that here while we got a quick moment before we go into the break?
Yes. We did get 2 updates to the roster. We have a transfer from UMass listed, Michael Opong, who's a grad student, class of, I want to say 2018, based on what I was able to find, defensive back. And I don't know if he made a game appearance. He didn't appear, or wasn't listed in the statistics, but he was listed. I first noticed him on August 17th. And I believe either just before the game this weekend, offensive lineman Chris, and I'm not sure if I can pronounce his oh, goodness gracious. Akporogani comes from Bowling Green University. He graduated from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, so he has FBS experience. Then he spent I think 1 year at Tulsa, and then last year at Bowling Green, where he was injured in the preseason and didn't have any game appearances. And he appeared mostly on special teams. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school at IMG Academy. So he has some perceived talent, and we'll see if that adds to the depth. And another update that I didn't see the young man from TCU, offensive lineman. He was no longer listed on the roster. So I don't know if this was a replacement for him. I don't know what transpired there, but we do have some additional depth at the defensive backfield and offensive line.
All right. Speaking of updates, I'm going to come back real quick to a question from Jimmy Mack very early in the show, asking about if we knew anything about the stadium announcer for this weekend. Now, of course, I have not heard anything about the Voice of Brad contest. I'm assuming I didn't get it because I didn't get a call. I know a couple other people who entered their name. I didn't hear that they got a call. So I don't know, Kelvin, you're in Tallahassee. You got any news for us?
Not at all. I'm going to assume Sterling is coming, though, until I hear different. I don't know. I have no intel.
All right. No intel. We're trying to see if we can get an answer and see if we can reach out through our network of folks and see if we can find out that answer. So, Jimmy, if we hear anything before the end of the show, we'll make sure to let you know. Maybe anybody in the chats. Maybe we got a lot of connected folks, So maybe somebody in the chat has heard something. Okay. Let's take a break. Coming up, let me say first off, thank you to everybody for voting. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. It looks like final answer here. How many points will FAMU defeat South Carolina State? 48% of you say by 7 to 13 points, while 33% of you say 14 or more, and 20 of you say within 1 to 6 points. Of course, again, as stated, the over-under was 44.5. The betting line is 9.5. And that's according to FanDuel, which if you're in the state of Florida, sorry, you can't use it. But if you're watching this from another state that does, you might want to jump on that. I'm not calling that a best bet, by the way. So I'm not doing that. But I'm just letting you know what the number is. So we got Nick Dixon coming up on the other side. We're going to talk to the wide receiver himself and kind of get his take on what he saw from game number 1 and what he thinks the adjustments will be and where FAMU will go this upcoming weekend in Bragg as they look to make it 21 consecutive wins in Bragg Memorial Stadium. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be. You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel. Yes! That's how you waffle!
Mr. This Script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer. Go for key. Even the ultimate pool float inflator. With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
Human Voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeaversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us is the wide receiver himself, also a coach. So we got to call, this is Coach Nick over at Godby High School, of course, championship wide receiver with the Rattlers. Nick, how you doing, my man? What's good?
I'm good. How are y'all? I'm good.
Hey, man.
Been living, maintaining.
There you go. By the way, your Godby boys, you roughed up my high school guys in that preseason match. My boys from Orlando.
Oh, I'm not. It's funny. I'm not even at Godby right now. I had a new opportunity come up. I'm waiting to speak on it, but I have something else coming up too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. No breaking news, huh? You're not gonna get no breaking news tonight, huh?
Not tonight.
Okay. Okay.
I actually have the FAMU game on in here. I was watching it earlier.
Okay. So let's get into let's start on the offensive side of the ball. That's where you cut your teeth and you're most familiar with. Give us your impressions, maybe 3 takeaways from what you saw from the offense.
I feel like we have a really good O-line. I feel like we have a really good quarterback. And I feel like all the designated role players will play their roles the best. And my final point is Joe Henry is a great play caller. Because it wasn't many bad plays. We gave up 0 sacks. Didn't turn the ball over from the quarterback. Didn't really put it in like a chance to have it turned over. We got a good wide receiver 1. Got good tight ends. I feel like the offense is gonna be great. Like everybody's trying to figure out why we started slow. I guess a little bit. I mean, it's a new play caller. All those guys were used to a different style of how things used to be called. I mean, Moose was more of a drop back quarterback, so it was more of a drop back game, quick game. D. Rich is a RPO type of guy. He's a dual threat, but he's not your like typical dual threat. He's a get it done dual threat. It's not like he's gonna run for like 100 and some yards. He'll probably get 30, 40 yards a game because he's gonna take what you give him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, offense look good though.
Nice. What you got, Kelvin?
So Nick, I'm assuming you didn't have you weren't able to attend. Were you able to attend the game in Atlanta?
I didn't go to the game. I'm gonna go to the game this weekend.
Okay, you'll be in South Carolina State.
I'll be in Brad. Yeah, I'll be in Brad.
Okay.
Only games I'm traveling to, I'm gonna go to Jackson and I'm gonna go to the Classic. I'm gonna go to Jackson though.
You taking security with you on that?
Oh, they waiting on you in Jackson.
I'm gonna go. Me and Kamari are gonna go. Me and Kamari are gonna drive down.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right. So Nick, kind of tell us about what's going on. I know you was talking about teaching and some stuff. What's going on with you right now?
Right now I am a sub full-time for Leon County, but I'm praying. I had an interview with like a bigger coaching job. I'm trying to see how that goes. Possibly moving from Tallahassee. So I'm trying to see how all that goes right now. And I'm still training for the UFL. I'm waiting for all their process and everything to get done so I can get into that and get it moving. But other than that, I've been just staying in shape, working out, taking jobs as they come.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Thanks for coming back on the show, Coach Nick. In terms of how things started out for FAMU for this past Saturday, do you think more it was a feeling out of our own personnel or what Norfolk was doing, or a combination of both?
I mean, I know up front, I know on defense, I know for a fact on defense because I already talked to some people. They set the front wrong a lot of times. I mean, Eric Horn is the older guy in the linebacker room, but he doesn't play Mike. He plays Will Backer. So we're getting a new Mike in. We got a kid from Mississippi Valley. He's pretty good. My bet would be on Nayron Jenkins. I've always loved Nayron. People slight Nayron because he may not look like the type of linebacker you want because he's a walk-on, but Nayron knows football and he knows the defense. Nayron is always going to be in position. It's whether if he makes the play, and I always feel like Nayron will make the play. So we got Nayron in, and a lot of communication was going a different way, going a lot better. I mean, it's a new defense. We got a new DC, so I expect that it'll be some mess ups a little bit there. We got a kid playing corner for the first time in his career. He's usually an in the box and nickel safety, Jamil Sanders. He gave up 2 big ones. Other than that, you didn't really see him giving up anything besides 2 big ones. I feel like everybody had to get back playing football, and I feel like they had to get used to a new style of play. I mean, we're always gonna play hard, play fast, but it's a new style of play. I mean, I feel like they're asking the secondary to do a little bit more this year, because our returning like vocal points and guys are off the D-line. We've always had like just great D-line play. Like every year you could have named all 4 of our D-linemen and probably 2 to 3 deep. This year, you can probably name 2 of them, and we got some guys that are trying to fill the role. But, I mean, I don't really think it was anything Norfolk was doing. I mean, if you have 2 guys in one gap, you're probably wrong. That happened on the long touchdown. We had 2 guys in one gap. It happens. If you're a good enough athlete, you should hit your head on the goalpost. You should run all the way down the field. And that it happened a good amount of times. And I mean, I said this on Twitter. I didn't think we was gonna lose because Dawson Odoms was the head coach, and he's never beat FAMU from what I know. So if I was a betting man, I would have just went against them just because of that. You know, they were down their starting quarterback, whoever was supposed to be the presumed starter. And I know Odoms don't like to throw the ball. Like, he's gonna win running the football. He's always tried to win just running the football. When he was at Southern, we had Ladarius Skelton them. He had a quarterback that was a running back, and they tried to run the ball because what was the kid Glendon McDaniel? He was a really good quarterback, but he didn't fit their scheme because he wants a dude that's gonna tuck in and run. I mean, once we assess that, I mean, Cozy hasn't played Odom, so once he assessed it, I feel like everybody understood what we had to do, fit your right gaps, and get the ball down, snap it again. Eric Horn, I always spoke on him. He made the play of the game. I mean, he's a real football. He's a football player. I mean, he's really good. I don't really know what people expected. I don't know why people expected us to just jump off super, super fast. I mean, we got a new starting quarterback, new starting running back, 3 new starting receivers. I mean, the only thing that everything came back in was the O-line room. And you're not going to see a lot of excitement from an O-line room. They blocking. You know, we got a new starting safety, got 2 new starting linebackers, all 4 of our new D linemen, and another. Kendall Bowler is the only person that is a returning starter on the defense. I don't think people understand that. Like, James Ash didn't start last year. Alan Smith didn't start last year. Eric Horn didn't start. Deco Wilson was splitting reps until like the last 2 games. So it's like we have 1 returning starter on defense for real. And people are expecting us to just come out. I mean, and Kendall is a leader by example. He's not like a overly vocal guy. He's gonna speak when he needs to, but it's only so much a corner can do from out wide to stop the run. So, I mean, I just want people to know we just saw a whole bunch of new people kind of like earn their rank a little bit. Like, everybody knew about Jamari Gassett already. So, I mean, he just stepped up where he just took the role of wide receiver 1.
Speaking of Gassett, great question here. Give us your grade on the receivers. Gassett, 8 for 110, 2 touchdowns. Kobe Gross, 3 for 45. Thad Franklin out of the backfield, 3 for 39 and a touchdown. Jalen Rogers, 3 for 28. Jalen Ward, 2 for 26. Carter Johnson, 1 for 22. And then Bo Somerset, 2 for 16.
Just because I know how stuff is supposed to be done, and I hope AC sees this because he knows I'm big on him, but I'm a big stickler too. I'll give him probably like a C+, B-. It wasn't. I'll give Jamari Gassett an individual grade. He gets an A. He gets an A. Individual grade of like first game performance, he gets an A. But I mean, I saw some people run wrong routes. I saw people bump into each other. We had a drop ball. It wasn't like we were blocking downfield. Sometimes we weren't. I mean, that's the position I'm gonna watch. So I give him a B+, C. But as a whole group, probably C. We had a key drop. We had like a big drop. Acion Cobb had a big drop. Don't ever like to see that. On the play Jamari Gassett scored, Ward ran the wrong route, but luckily Gassett got open. Man, it's week 1 things that happen, though. Week 1 things happen. Kobe Gross, I don't know if anybody's noticed, he likes jumping over people. He did it last year. He did it the year before last. So, I mean, I would just expect that you wouldn't really go low on him. I mean, he's a great pass catcher. Kobe used to play receiver. He played receiver in high school. So JP played receiver in high school. The kid we got from Pitt, monster. He's like, I want everybody to go back and watch the game. He's a blocker, and he can catch the ball. But he is a physical blocker. And
that's Carter Johnson, right?
Yeah, Carter. But Bo Somerset, he got the start. He didn't really get like a hot start running the ball. I feel like it was just like. I feel like some of his play. I feel like he's more of like a Zende Ray. I don't feel like he is a every down back. He's like a gadget back, and you can get a lot of yards as a gadget back. I feel like Wood had a really good game if he didn't fumble. Got to kill him because he fumbled. You know, shake it back next week. At that, Franklin's real smooth. He's a smooth runner of the ball. He's nimble on his feet. He's real big, but he's nimble. I mean, I don't think people are gonna want to tackle any of our running backs, honestly. If I had to take a bet, it'd probably be Wu just because of stature, because he's not short and stocky. He's not like super stocky, but Wu's probably like 210, 200. We had all of our running backs are like 200 plus.
Yeah.
So, but the receiver grade, I'm gonna give him like a 79, 80. Just because only one of them got in the box too. If only one guy gets in the box, it looks like Looks like I only got one guy. So hopefully, I feel like next week it's Brad. So
talk a little bit about that. Spin it forward here. What's the coming out of now that you've got the first game out of the system from a player's perspective? And going into this home game, obviously you were in a situation last year. Get a win to open the season on a neutral site and come back playing Bragg. What's the feelings like for the guys going into this contest?
Well, I've played week 0 too. It's a fast turnaround. Like now you're in school, now you're in class, now everything's kind of picking up. You got a whole bunch of new faces on campus. You got to kind of figure out how to keep the main thing. You know, I know they had practice on Sunday. We always have practice on Sunday after that game. So they had a 7 p.m. practice. They practiced at 6 a.m. yesterday and today, I think. Really try not to think. I used to try not to think too much about what I did in the week before. Like, try not to think about the bad or all the good. Like, just try to take the coaching points. I don't really think about what I did. I just think about what my coach told me and keep it pushing forward. And playing in front of Bragg is, I'll be honest, this is a great feeling. Like, we don't coach. I don't know if they're going to do it this year. We didn't have to go to a hotel. We could stay in our apartment. Everybody knew, like, handle your business, be to yourself, do what you do, be good, be right. Show up on game day, show up for breakfast, make sure you're in the facility, you're doing everything you're supposed to do. I mean, I feel like they'll just stack on top of the fact that, you know, everybody's going to come out and think they can run the ball. So, obviously, as a defense, they're gonna run the ball off the dribble. Right? They're going to start the game, making it a grudge match, and it's a MEAC team. Like, the MEAC is known for trying to run the ball. That's why we match up well though, because we recruit a good mix. We recruit like we're in the MEAC and like we're in the SWAC. So I feel like it's gonna be a grudge match. I mean, I know Kamari Young, when they play in the HBCU Legacy Bowl, they say Barry and them were the coaches up there. They were coaching out there, and they said they were pretty good coaches. So I had a friend that played at Benedict. His name was Reggie. What's Reggie's last name? Harton. Reggie plays at Arkansas State now. He says they were pretty good. Yeah, he's Jacksonville Reigns. He says they were pretty good. A kid named Jalen Brinson at one of my high school. He was coaching at Benedict. You know, Troy's there. Troy Johnson, he's there. So, you know, of course, he's going to have him hype. I feel like they have a good quarterback. The kid, Phoenix, I think he was at Murray State. He's a pretty good quarterback. He lit it up. But I will say this, because I am one of these types of people. You have to prove to me that what you did at the D2 level will work at the D1 level. They just have to prove that to me, because I know that they were top dog with HBCUs at the D2 level. I don't know if they were top dog all of D2, but I know they were top dog at the HBCU level. I don't know I have never lost to a D2 HBCU. So I just want to say, I mean, they have a different talent. I know they have different talent now. But I know they brought a quarterback from their school, and they brought a bunch of dudes from Benedict.
Yeah.
A bunch of those guys are going to try to show that they could have played big-time football before they even went to Benedict. So it's going to be a bunch of guys, and Coach Simmons used to always say, and I'm pretty sure Cozy's going to say this too, everybody plays their hardest versus FAMU.
Yeah.
No matter who you get, you're going to get your best game. They're going to come out and play their best version of football versus FAMU, because everybody likes to beat us. You know, we haven't, and a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of fans know this, but the last home loss we had was to South Carolina State in 2018. They put a whooping on us too. I think that was just like 35 to like 14 or 40 to 14, something like that. That's neither here nor there. It's been since 2018 since we've lost in Bragg. I don't feel like we're gonna lose now. I feel like a bunch of those guys that played are gonna play even better in front of Bragg. I feel like Jamari Gass is gonna have a big game. South Carolina State. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's really hard. I don't think it's gonna be a hard thing to do. I feel like you run the ball so that you can open up the pass. We have a quarterback. We have a smart veteran quarterback. We have a good running back room, and you can't beat a good O-line, a really good O-line. I want people to understand that was 0 sacks.
Yeah,
that was 0 sacks, and we were rotating guys. We were rotating different O-linemen. We were making sure people were fresh on the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to beat. That's really hard to beat, especially when you have tight ends that'll block, a running back that'll throw a chip in, and we have 4 different types of bodies at receiver and tight end. I mean, I feel like the spread's like 9. I feel like
9.5.
I feel like it'll be close in the first quarter, just because I feel like in the second quarter, we'll probably wear on them. It is hotter in Tallahassee. I want people to understand it's always hotter in Tallahassee. And I will say this, we condition like crazy. It's not many people that's practicing in pads after a game. We are practicing in shoulder pads the day after a game. So I will say this, we are usually the toughest team. Like it's not, I've never played a game. The only game I ever played at FAMU where I hit somebody and they felt tougher, like they just felt tougher, was Troy my freshman year. I didn't play UCF that next year, but Troy is the only time I hit somebody in the game, and I was a true freshman, so it might have just been that. But when we played USF, it was never I hit it and it was like, oh my gosh, like oh my goodness. Like we played Southeastern, it wasn't I hit it, it was we're always the toughest team. We're always gonna play the hardest. It's gonna come down to discipline and alignment, assignment, and adjustment. I feel like the defense is gonna start the run, and I feel like they're gonna have to beat us in the air. I don't really know a time where we've lost on the ground. I can't really remember a time where we've lost the FCS. I can think of an FBS game we've lost like versus FBS, but we lost to Jackson that year. Jackson didn't run the ball. They had an air raid. The other year we lost to Jackson, nobody really did anything on offense. They scored 1 touchdown. Southeastern threw the ball all over the field. When we lost South Carolina State that year, they had 2 kick returns in a game, a pick 6, and I think they threw the ball in the air too. Like Bethune, whenever we used to lose, they'd throw the ball up in the air. Like we don't really lose with people running the ball, not really. And the last time we played South Carolina State, they had a guy on defense that they don't have anymore. What's the kid? I think he got a brother. His brother was the one that played receiver. He went to ECU. It's a linebacker. He transferred to ECU. BJ Jones.
Green. Oh.
He had number 5. He was a big middle linebacker who had number 5 for South Carolina State. He caught 2 interceptions versus us. He's gone. He's at ECU. And I just want people to know he was a difference maker. He was a real difference maker. But I saw the receiver that they're talking about, that everybody's talking about, their leading receiver from a year ago. I like Kendall Bowler.
Let me ask.
Short and sweet. I like Kendall Bowler over him.
Let me. We'll do this around the horn style with Kelvin and Marcus. We started the show kind of just talking about 3 takeaways, two players or plays of the game. I'm gonna come to you with the one, and we'll go around the horn, Kelvin and Marcus as well. What's your one? Watching the game, seeing the game. What's your one either area of concern or adjustment that you think FAMU makes? Or, if it's the area of concern, what's your one area of concern going into this week's game? So either or.
Only area of concern is either my area of concern is the front 7. I just want to see them build off what they did in the second half. I feel like they build off it, but I feel like the front 7 dropped the ball in the first part of the game. Like a lot of people talk about how the safeties were missing tackles or the corners weren't getting them down. It's like if you're relying on your safeties and corners to make tackles, that's a problem. I feel like we have good enough players that the ball shouldn't be breaking to have to get to our safeties. I believe our safeties should be catching interceptions because people can't run through our front 7. So my only area of concern would be the D-line and linebacker play. That's my only concern. Because I don't feel like a post and a goal being caught in a game, I can live with if it's not a touchdown. And I want people to understand, those weren't drop back 3 and throw a post. That was drop back, sit for a little bit, scoot up, throw a post. My brother played DB. My oldest brother played DB. That is a long time to just be covering. And yeah, you're supposed to cover and make sure the ball doesn't get there, but dudes are used to us having a pass rush. Like, that's just what it is. We had to do it with 10 sacks last year. The year before that, we had another dude. We had to do with 10 and a dude with 13. And the year before that, we had to do with 20 sacks. Yeah. And before Zaylan came here, we had Antonio Miller. We had Scrap. He was a good D lineman too, the original 31. Like, we've always had a pass rush. So I do want to see one of these ends. I want to see one of these ends take control because you just got to be – I feel like you just have to be a high-energy dog. I don't really think you have to have crazy elite moves at this level. I don't think you have to have crazy elite moves to just get by. I feel like you have to be a dog that has a high motor. I'm looking for Allen Smith. I think Allen Smith should come out the bunch. I'm looking for him. He put on some weight. I'm hoping that it's good for him. I'm looking for him. The kid from Kansas State played a little bit better too. Number 17 at D-line. He came in and made a couple plays, but I'm looking for Allen Smith to make plays. I'm looking for him to take control of the room because he's the veteran guy.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Kelvin. What have you got? What's your one area of concern or your one adjustment that you'd like to see? And you're on mute, so make sure you come off mute.
So Nick he hit one of my areas, which was the pressure. So I'm gonna go with my second area, and that's the running game. They were okay, but I think they have the ability to be elite. With that offensive line and the skill sets of our running backs and our tight ends, we saw it in that last two drives we had on offense in the Norfolk game. The drive we scored on was about 8 minutes, and then when we got the ball with 6 minutes left, they never saw the ball again. We are built for that, and I want to see us, put our footprint on the game early by being more physical, because we built to be able to be more physical. I'm not worried about Gassett and the tight ends and Daniel in the passing game. I know they can do that. But if we can get 100-yard rusher, a combination of 3 running backs, and get about 170 to 200 yards rushing in a game, we'll put 40 points on people. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, having a better running game, particularly starting the game off.
What do you got, Marcus?
I guess what I'm looking at is Coach Colsey mentioned either in the post game or one of the interviews, like for the upcoming week. He basically said that at times we didn't have our best 11 out there. So I'm interested to see, and even Kelvin noted earlier, just watching the film in terms of linebackers that got switched out, and I'm got the game on the other screen now. I'm interested to see who elevates to the starting positions now based on the performances from the MEAC-SWAC challenge. You see who gets promoted and who the starters who were in game 1 during week 0 are now going to be potential reserves for the second game on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm going to go with our starts. I'm going to go with the slow starts. Now, by nature, the fact that we have a defensive coach, whenever we win the toss, we're just going to always defer. Now, I don't recall, Nick, when Coach Simmons won the coin toss, was he deferring or was he taking the ball?
Taking the ball.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's an offensive mindset, right? And I think I didn't hear anybody until the 220 Club today. Somebody finally asked Coach Colsey about the philosophy, but I kind of already assumed as a defensive guy, he's going to put the defense on the field first and then go, we'll get the ball and start the second half. So with that said, our slow starts does concern me. It may have been more concerning when we do take the ball and don't come up with a score to start. But now, obviously, you're faced with the pressure of saying, okay, the first drive, if we win the toss by the defense, that first drive, what does that look like for us? And then on the flip side, if South Carolina State wins, I'm trying to recall from Coach Berry. I got a feeling Coach Berry's going to defer too. So, that's going to be my area of concern in the first quarter. Can we get off to a good start and get the crowd and Bragg excited? Hopefully, the fans are able to get in the stadium for kickoff. And if that happens, then we'll have an electric crowd for kickoff. We'll see what happens. Prayers up. Hopefully everything is working well.
I'll be there. I'll be on the sideline vibing. Nice and relaxed.
Well, hopefully if the crowd is not standing outside in a long line, hopefully they'll be ready to go. All right, Nick, you'll be in the building. You'll be in the house on Saturday. Give us a final score. What's your score? And then we always like to do a bold prediction. So give us a score and a bold prediction for Saturday.
35-17 or I'll go 31-17. And bold prediction, I say Richardson throws for 300 yards.
Okay.
I'll say he throws for 300, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'll say he stacks and goes for 300 yards this game.
Okay. Wasn't too far off of it this past week. Probably if it's not for that drop.
If it's not for that fumble, we win by 14.
Well, right. Yeah. So, hey, who you telling?
Look, it's not hard to predict it though. You just gotta see who get the ball. Whoever get the ball first is raps. Whoever get the ball, if they get the ball first and don't score, it's gonna be a long day. That's the only thing. It's gonna be a long day. Because if you go down and don't get the ball and the other team, because we believe in winning the middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. And if you win the middle 8, Joe Henry he put it up every Friday night before the game. I remember he put it up every meet. If you win the middle 8, you have an 87% chance of winning a football game. No matter the score right then, if you win the middle 8, you are more than likely going to win the football game. We won the middle 8 last week. You win the middle 8, you win. You win the middle 8 and you don't turn the ball over, you win. Daniel Richardson, 300 yards, 30. I'll do 31-14 because I don't think they'll have a kicker. I'll do 31-14.
All right, good stuff, man. I love that statistic. What'd you say that number was? 87%.
It was like 80. It was like 87 or 80 something. If you win the middle 4, if you win the middle 4, we got to look. I'm telling you, Coach Joe Henry he's broken a lot of stuff down to a science.
Nice.
And we have a game plan board that we watch. It's like goals for the game. And I think we only had one game last year. We accomplished every goal. I think it was PV homecoming. And we put up like 50 or 40 some points. We accomplished every day. And I remember after that, they told us, like, you see what happens when you hit every goal. When you hit every goal, nothing goes wrong. And that's true though. Like them goal boards, look, I'm telling you, if they still have the same goal boards, if they hit, and I think we won't on most games, we only hit like 7 out of like 12 of them, or 7 or 6 out of 12 of them. Look, we gotta have like 15 explosion plays in the game. It's something crazy. But I remember if we hit like 6 or 7, we're undefeated with that. We're undefeated. We're undefeated. When we hit all of them, the only game last year we didn't hit over 7 was USF.
Yeah.
And we had 5 turnovers, so we couldn't really hit them.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll see y'all. If y'all see me at the game, I'll see y'all. I'll be out there in my nice alumni gear with my rings on. I think we're supposed to get our national championship rings this week. I hope we do.
That's
if
what we
do,
heard.
I'll have that on the field too.
There you go. All right. Well, be looking out for Nick. Don't forget, find Nick on social media. Where you can find him. Hold on, I had it somewhere here from the last time you were on the show. There you go. Find Nick on social media right there. __, throw it up to 88. And Nick, we always appreciate you coming on the show. Great insight. And man, keep us posted with that good news on that opportunity.
I got you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank y'all for having me, man. I hope y'all have a good day. Good night.
All right, man. Be well. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yes.
All right. Good stuff. I know Marcus has got to get out of here, so he's gonna miss. I thought we were gonna be able to do our first prediction segment with our SWAC games, but Marcus has said he's got to check out early. So Marcus, we'll end the segment here and give you a chance to give your prediction and bold, your score prediction and your bold prediction. So you guys in the chat room, it's that time of the show. Go ahead and start dropping in your score predictions for this game. And we'll start posting those during the show. But go ahead, Marcus.
I'm gonna say 27-20 FAMU, and bold prediction. 1 punt return touchdown.
Damn it, you stole mine. All right, one good stuff. One punt return touchdown. All right. You care to add we got 2 punt returners. Care to put a name on it?
Let me see. I know Gassett was returning last week, but I think Jalen Ward took the opening kickoff. So I don't know whoever they put back. I'm thinking Gassett because he got close.
Primarily Gassett.
He had a good return against Norfolk State. I mean, we don't want to wear him out, but I think Gassett's gonna. I think he's gonna take one.
All right. Good stuff. Well, Marcus, you you have a great rest of the week. Be looking out on Saturday. We're trying to figure out plans in terms of the post-game show and all that kind of stuff and how we're going to coordinate that. Even pregame might be a little different, but we'll talk about that coming up here shortly. But Marcus, any final thoughts you want to add? Anything else you want to add before you sign out?
I put something in the chat. I mean, you can discuss that a little more. But like I said earlier, I'm pleased about the complete clean game that we played, and both teams played on national stage. And they even had a graphic during the game as I was watching the replay a little earlier today about how many penalty yards and penalties we had last year. And I think it's going to be a 180-degree turn if we continue with the consistency that we had in game 1. And only 2 of those penalties were costly. 3 of them were either innocuous, they didn't have any negative benefit, or the last penalty we got, where we were actually offsides for the extra point. We blocked the extra point, that didn't count, and then they went for 2, and we stopped on that at 2, so it really turned out to our benefit. So overall, I'm pleased with that aspect of it. We got to get the other things shored up in terms of the run defense and maybe being a little bit more explosive on offense, but that comes with personnel getting familiar with the scheme and each other and all that stuff.
All right. Good stuff. Make sure to follow Marcus if you're not already following him at Decatur_G. And Kelvin and I will come back for one last segment. We'll look at all of the games in the SWAC. Week 1 begins tomorrow evening, Thursday. That's right. Thursday night football. So there's plenty of games in the SWAC, plenty of games across the diaspora, the HBCU sporting diaspora, as the games jump off on Saturday, full blow. So make sure to give Marcus a shout out. And Marcus, we'll be in touch. When we come back from the break, one final segment to close out the show with me and Kelvin. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Hey, grab me one too.
This is Ryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be. You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel. Yes! That's how you waffle!
Mister, this script got a plot twist at a Radisson hotel.
A business big leaguer. Go for key. Even the ultimate pool float inflator. With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
Greetings, I'm Kiana Watson.
Hi, I'm Zoyana Hughes.
Greetings, I'm Nia Morgan, and for all things FAMU Athletics, check out the Orange and Green StrikeZone
on Wednesdays at the Black College Sports Network.
Go Rattlers!
All right. Me and Kelvin here bringing it home to wrap up the show. Thank you to everybody who's been watching. Of course, we appreciate our guests, Coach Dominique Washington, a great segment there to get you ready for the volleyball. So if you happen to miss the first hour of the show, highly recommend you go back and especially at the bottom of hour one and catch the segment with Coach Washington as we do a great breakdown of the volleyball season and this upcoming games that are in Atlanta at Georgia State University. Also, thanks to Brad Gillings, top of hour two, for giving us an outstanding breakdown of South Carolina State. And then Nick Dixon came in and joined us there. So great guest lineup for this week. And we'll kind of keep trying to add great guests as we come. I can tell you upcoming, and not next week, but the week after, we got Coach Pat Crary coming in. So he will be making his debut on the ONG StrikeZone coming up. And that'll be kind of right before SWAC Basketball Media Day. We can talk about the roster. Obviously, they keep making news, positive news. I think the roster is up to about 15 players. We just pulled in another solid transfer, a young man. I think I want to make sure I don't know if I can pull up his name quick enough, but a young man who averaged about 24 points a game at the was he at the D2 or the NAI level?
Jalen Whitehead.
Thank you. Jalen Whitehead is the tall
big
forward.
guy, 6'9".
Big guy. Yeah, I'm talking about that. Well, yeah. So that was last week. I was thinking about the guard. He brought in a 6-foot guard that averaged about 24. Yeah, good stuff. All right, Kelvin. Let me see. I'm already starting to see some predictions here. Let's go through some of the SWAC stuff.
Let's do it.
Yeah, there's the SWAC schedule coming up this upcoming week. 3 SWAC teams are in play tomorrow night.
Yep.
Tomorrow night. Jackson State traveling to UL Monroe. That's a 6 Eastern. I believe that's 6 Eastern, right? 6 Eastern. Central. So it's so 7 Eastern, 6 Central. That's on ESPN Plus. Arkansas Pine Bluff. Yikes. Playing Arkansas. I think I've seen the line on that one at about 45, something like that. Hold on. I'll tell you here actually, because I can pull it up. 48.5. Yowzer. That's a lot.
Put your money on Pine Bluff on that one.
What'd you say?
Put your money on Pine Bluff. I don't think they're gonna lose by 48.
Okay, so here's an interesting strategy. I like that because I recommended to a friend of mine because I think the Delaware State line was like 40 and the over-under was 51.5, something to that effect. And what I kept telling my friend was there's a strategy called the dog and over. Okay. And when you have a point spread and a total that sit that close, now ideally you would want it to be somewhere between a touchdown, but 10 points isn't bad. So the whole idea is you bet on the dog to cover and you take the over, because in theory, one of two are going to hit. And if it plays out right, if the dog can score, you're likely going to get both of them. In the case of the Delaware State game, Delaware State covered the 40, only losing by 21. The over didn't hit though, and I think that was a product of the weather. So you come out 1-1, which is not bad, because a push, like, hey, you don't lose, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. So the over, the line you talked about, that 48.5, the total is 57.5. So I agree with you, Kelvin. I'm more inclined to play Arkansas Pine Bluff plus 48.5. And then here's another factor, Kelvin. You got to remember, it's an in-state school. You're not going to really run it up that much. I mean, you could beat your opponent by 6 touchdowns and still accomplish the goals, right? So if they beat them by 6 touchdowns, that's 42 points. You're still not covering the 48.5. I don't think Arkansas will do that to an in-state opponent. Now, short of Arkansas handing touchdowns over to Arkansas, you know what I'm saying? Short of that happening, where you give up a pick 6 or a fumble, scoop, and score, I think it's a good bet to take Pine Bluff and the over in that contest. Somebody tell me what the Jackson State line is on UL Monroe. I'm curious. Because I am all in on Jackson State. My bold prediction is Jackson State on the money line to get the win. Personally, that's one of the games. This is Jackson State's opportunity to get a win. So, yeah.
I ain't gonna put my money on it, but it's possible.
I always say a little pizza money. And, that's money that'll save me from buying a pizza. If I lose it, I ain't need that pizza. And if I win, I'm eating steak. So there you go. That's how I rationalize it. Yeah. And then you see Alcorn traveling to UAB. UAB was, let me see, who Edwin says he thinks it's about 7 points. Woo. Man, you got to take the dog. If it's that close, you got to take Jackson State. Anyway, Alcorn and UAB. UAB, coached by Trent Dilfer, Super Bowl winning quarterback. They were 1-10 last year, I think. But I think I saw that the line was pretty high for that game. I'm curious. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm on the page now. Yeah, the Jackson State game is 6.5 on FanDuel. And the UAB, let's see if I can find, yeah. Ooh, Alcorn is a 26.5 point underdog. The over-under is 55. What do you think, Kelvin? Can Alcorn stay within 3 touchdowns and a field goal?
I got to see it. You got a new coach. I don't know. I got to see it. So I would say no right now.
Okay. EA dropping some great intel here. I wasn't sure about the injuries. I'm going to have to check in with those JSU folks because, yeah, if there's some injuries, I may stay away from that game altogether. So good work, EA. All right. And then you see the Saturday slate of games. We'll come back to South Carolina State and FAMU. Valley is traveling to Tennessee State. Who you got on that one, Kelvin? That's a 5 o'clock Central Time, so that's 6 Eastern.
Tennessee State.
All right. The Wildcats traveling to South Florida, USF, in-state contest. No hesitation. The lone conference matchup in the SWAC is the Labor Day Classic in Houston, Texas. That's Texas Southern at Prairie View. I'm right there with you. Let's see. Then moving on down, we've got Auburn and Alabama A&M traveling to no hesitation. Let me see if I can quickly find what the number is. All right, here's another play. The line is 46.5 for Alabama A&M. The total is 56.5.
I like the over on the 56.
I do too. You know what? Can Alabama A&M cover 46.5? I
don't know. It depends because with Maynard, if he gets down, he gonna continue to go 3 and out and turn the ball over. His quarterback ain't accurate. But if they hit now, and I do think they have the talent where they can put up some points, if they have some composure, then absolutely. I just can't bet on Maynard right now, given the history of Alabama A&M. I have to. That's another. I have to see it.
All right. Grambling State opens their season on the road against UL Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. They are a 32.5-point underdog. The total is 58.5.
I like Grambling to beat the spread.
You like them 32.5, huh?
Yeah, I like them to beat the spread. I don't know what they're gonna be offensively, so I wouldn't take the over, but I don't expect them to lose by 30.
All right. And the next one is a FCS matchup. That's Southern University at McNeese State. An FCS versus FCS matchup. You know, McNeese State for a long time used to win. I think they had like a 13 or 14 game winning streak at one point against the SWAC schools until I think it was Alcorn that finally beat. It was either Alcorn or Prairie View that finally beat them. Somebody in purple. Can't remember who. But yeah, now Southern gets a shot. What do you think?
Another new coach. Don't know what to expect. So I'm gonna go with McNeese in a close one.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that sentiment there. I would stay away from that game. Edwin, of course, I would hope, Edwin, you would take Southern over McNeese. You know, we'll see what y'all Southern boys do. And then on Sunday, down in Miami Gardens, Florida, you've got the Orange Blossom Classic, 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 Central on ESPN. The number 1 ranked team in the MEAC, North Carolina Central, versus the number 1 ranked team in the SWAC East, Alabama State. What's your take on this game, Kelvin?
2 teams that you don't know. They haven't earned their ranking at this point. It's definitely projection. I'm not confident in either one being number 1 in their conferences, but I do think it's a toss-em game. And so it goes to for a toss-em game, I go with what coach I trust the best. And so I trust Oliver a little bit more. So I'm gonna give Central the edge by 3.
Central the edge by 3. This is a tough one. You know what? I'm gonna go Bama State because I think Bama State's gonna have the home field advantage. As strange as it sounds, I think they're gonna have the largest contingent of fans in attendance.
I don't think that's gonna matter. It ain't a FAMU crowd. So
yeah. I think it'll still be. I think it'll still be significant. I think it'll be significant and loud enough. But you may be right. You may be right. And I am gonna go with the. I know this is treading into murky waters with the whole Andrew Body thing, but I'm going with Andrew Body in his first game back being just enough to give Alabama State a victory. And hopefully the young brother can stay healthy.
It's going to come down to 4 quarters. This game is who put together a complete game. And my concern with Bama State is the 4th quarter, frankly. Saying when we saw Norfolk and how they struggle with conditioning and cramps and all that, well, it's not for me with Bama State. It's not the cramping up so much as it is playing with a lead. I just can't get out of my mind Bama State with all the talent they had losing the Miles last year and almost losing the Miles the year before.
It's hard to get that picture out of your head.
I can't get it out of my head, so they got to show me.
Okay. I mean, I get you. I understand it. All right. Well, that brings us to our feature game, of course. Let me see. Hold on. What am I looking for here? Let's see. I thought I had a little banner here that I wanted to put up here. Well, I'll go in here. All right. So it's that time again. So we want to know what your score prediction is for FAMU versus South Carolina State. And let's kind of get those going in the chat room, or if you want to post it on X, you can go ahead and do that as well. If you're watching, I'll check also on Instagram Live, or if anybody's watching on Instagram Live, go ahead and post those score reactions. Already starting to come in. Let's see what the people are saying, Kelvin, before you give your scores. Kenya's got a 27-17 ball game. That's covering the 9.5. Tamara T's going with a 2-touchdown win by the Rattlers, 28-14. JT, 24-13 is what he's got. Sermon Jr., 31-5. Does that say 31-5 or 31.5? My eyesight is bad. I think if that's 31-5, that's interesting how they got to 5. But I don't know. Now, I'm assuming Sweet saying FAMU wins 34-17. A little backwards there, but I got you. Edwin Moore goes with a close game, 24-17. 2 more touchdowns by Gassett. Ooh, close game. Okay. Sermon Jr. Okay, he goes 31-17. I think he adjusted his numbers there. 31-17. Let me see what else we got. Faith Family goes 24-10 with the score prediction. Good stuff. Let's see. Meredith, no score prediction, but she's going 3 sacks. How many sacks did we have this past week? I thought I saw 2.
I think we had 2 tackles for loss and 1 sack. But you have to check me on that.
Okay. Meredith goes 3 sacks. All right. Let's go, Kelvin. What do we got? Break it down for us. Score and bold prediction.
I think the game on our belt is significant. I think we have potential to be elite. I think that the coaches going to make the proper adjustments and have our best 11 out there. And also scheme-wise, I don't expect South Carolina State to have those gaps, those gash plays where they we're at home. Fan base going to be fired up. The players, first thing we heard after the game was, "Oh, we don't lose and brag." So I think we're going to play a more complete game. But South Carolina State is a quality opponent, so it may not show in terms of the separation, particularly first half. I'm going 28-14 FAMU with a better defensive performance. And my bold prediction is that South Carolina State will have less than 300 yards of total offense.
Less than 300 yards total offense. Okay. Let's see. Tony's going He says we had 2 sacks and 3 if you count the one that had the face mask. All right. Good stuff. All right. What was that final score again, Kelvin?
28-14.
28-14. 28-14 FAMU. That'd be a cover. And your bold prediction again one more time, because I think we got somebody, I forgot who, somebody's recording this for us, but anyway, we want to put it on record. You said
less than 300 yards total offense.
300 yards total offense. Okay.
For South Carolina State.
South Carolina State. Okay. I'm going back to thinking that the Dark Cloud defense really rights the ship. We don't give up a lot of points at home. So I think South Carolina State, I'm torn between 10 and 13. I'm somewhere in the middle of there in terms of points we allow. I'm going to shade the 13. I'm going to say we may give up 13. But I really feel like, you mentioned that 28 points. I'm going to go 24, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. So I'm going to go 24-13 is my score. A little bit closer game. And I think that'll be a product of the fight that South Carolina State will have. Now, here's my bold prediction. I'm going to go to the running game. And I think we have 2 rushers over 75 yards in this ball game. I'm going to go 2. I thought about saying we had somebody maybe break 100, but I'm going to go 2 over 75. And if I had to take an even bolder approach to that 2, I'm going to tell you it's going to be Kelvin Dean and Thad Franklin. That's my 2. But that's even bolder where I predict the actual 2. So there you go. Let me see. So there we go. I got some more. Oh, thank you. Gail is recording. So yes, Gail is recording. So Gail, while you're recording, did anybody come close with the bold predictions? I know we weren't close on the score. Did anybody come close on the bold predictions from week 1, Gail? You can let us know there in the chat.
If he had 3 sacks, I did, but I don't remember 3 sacks though.
Hold on, I'm gonna look at the box score, and the box score will tell you how many sacks right here. Let me see, team total. Let me see if I can find it. Sacks. Well, FAMU recorded 2 recorded sacks. 2 recorded sacks.
Close on accounted horseshoes, baby.
Exactly. Edwin says his score was close. Wadge Banks, you're that's a bold prediction. You're going way left there, but that's all right. I'm telling you, we got issues. If South Carolina State's winning by that margin, we got issues, and y'all winning the MEAC. I'm just gonna put it like that. If that happens, so
he going that Jackson State Celebration Bowl on us, ain't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And Edwin Moore, I got a cold in Atlanta, so I am a little hoarse.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm not reading any cards, Edwin. This is nothing there. All right. Well, Bragg Stadium is the place. We'll be looking out to see again. Serious talk. We're hoping that everything goes well with the home opener. We understand we had issues last year. Just got word that the announcement of the PA announcer should be coming out tomorrow or Friday. So for Jimmy Mack, I know you were asking. Be on the lookout. That announcement will come out. We'll see. We'll see if it's who Kelvin thinks it is. We don't know. Okay, Gail says Marcus, he had a 24-10 side. Well, he got the total points by FAMU, right?
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah. And yes, Kelvin, you said 4 sacks. So there you go. So I think we all go 0-1. I think I had the special teams return, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we all go 0-1 in week 1, and we'll see who comes up with what. So yeah. All righty. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's show. As always, we thank everybody for tuning in and checking us out, locking in wherever you can. Want to encourage you guys to check out the BCSN Pod Zone. The BCSN Pod Zone is the place where you can listen to all of the shows on the Black College Sports Network. That's our show. That's the BCSN Sports Wrap on Sundays with myself and AD Drew. Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, as well as the Carlos Brown Show. All of the shows that are part of the BCSN Pod Zone and more that you can download and listen to at your leisure. You can find it on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple and Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Just search BCSN Pod Zone. And we thank everybody for supporting. Pregame. Tony, I'll be honest, whether we do a pregame Saturday, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I'm coming from a funeral, so.
Oh, well, see, yeah. you coming from that, and then I may be on the road to Atlanta, from Atlanta. I have no idea yet. So I may not even make the game. That's how crazy my schedule is this weekend. So we will try to put some efforts into seeing if we can do something post-game. Right. So we'll keep everybody. If I'm in South Florida, though, I'll tell you what, Tony, I may be in South Florida. I need a spot to watch party. I need a watch party spot. So if I'm in South Florida, I need you to, I'm not saying you got to host it at the house, but, let us know if there's somewhere where the Rattlers in South Florida are going to be watching the game. I'd love to be able to be there with some other Rattlers watching the game on Saturday. So I'll text you. All right. Appreciate it, Sweet. Appreciate you. Kelvin will be there. He'll be in the house. Look at that. Tony says I'm in Tallahassee this weekend. Well, see, there you go. Now you're going to Tallahassee. I'm going the other direction. I'll be looking for a watch party. So if anybody in South Florida knows of a watch party with the alumni chapters down there, let me know. Somebody hit me up. Viewing party on South Beach. I won't be watching the football. That's why I won't go to South Beach. I'm just keeping it real. All right. Go ahead and leave a super chat. Those of you watching, it's always appreciated. You can if you want. You can hit the Cash App if you like. You could also join the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page and become a member of the JBN, and it's greatly appreciated. So for Marcus Green and Kelvin Rozier, I'm Bryan Fulford. Rattlers, fangs up, strike, and strike again. Strike those Bulldogs hard.
2-0, baby.
2-0. Time to go 2-0. Keep the winning streak going. And we look forward to talking with you in the post game. So be safe, Rattlers, wherever you're traveling to and far. And we will see you on the flip side. Peace out.
Oh,